Hey, so real quick, I just wanted to talk about something I see on the internet a lot, especially on Twitter or X and LinkedIn, where someone will say, this format is better than JSON, you should use that instead. And a lot of times it won't have any benchmarks to compare the two formats that they're saying. So you kind of have to either take it on faith or go do your own research. And frankly, both of those are bad. Uh, Doing your own research is good, but being able to use whatever benchmark someone used to start with is a much better starting point. So in Tune, if we go look at the data that's available in benchmarks, you can see here it's GitHub repos. There's probably, I'm just going to guess there's probably 100, max 50 objects here. So this is an array with an object where every object has the same keys. So that makes this a uniform array of objects. And I agree and can totally see that this is true for that particular use case. However, there are lots of other ways that you can have data, especially if you're dealing with data from APIs from somewhere else. So I built this tokenization experiment for myself just so that I could talk through it and understand it better. You can see here I have a few different formats. Almost every time, inevitably, someone does a comparison against pretty JSON. So that means it's been formatted so that you as a human can read it more easily. And then there is compressed JSON, and that's what we have here. And you can see it's condensed. There's no white space because JSON is not white space dependent. These other formats, on the other hand, are. So it's important when you're doing a comparison to do a comparison of apples to apples and not apples to a more exploded apple that could have been just a regular apple. So you can see what I've built here makes it really easy for you to say what's the baseline. In this case, I've said YAML, and I'll go to pretty JSON because everything is more efficient than human readable JSON. And if I move here to Tune, you can see that it is more efficient than JSON for a uniform top-level array of primitives. And that's what we were just looking at over here in this benchmark. What happens when you move to a non-uniform top-level array of primitives? Well, JSON is more efficient. Pretty JSON is still not more efficient. So the idea here is what things can we actually look at? What are the different shapes of data that we can test this against for simple, medium, and complex data structures? So down here, I also have this permutation of comparison table. So you can go through here and say, okay, for this type of data, this is what each of these will be. The goal being, let's put this back on small, simple. So like you can look at this and say, I can see how Tune is significantly more efficient as a token optimized notation than pretty JSON. However, compressed JSON for certain cases, most cases, in fact, JSON is more performant, and as is YAML. We can change this to be large complex here, go back down, and you can see that that is still true. And actually, this is broken. So I was just looking at it, trying to figure out what's happening here. CSV should be showing up as well, and it is not. So I need to fix that. But that was why I was a little confused there for a second. So you can see here, this is how you can make the decision of, is this more efficient? And this is a really important part of doing research and building things, is to be able to look at all of the permutations, as many as you can, instead of just one single example. And in this case, this is the best case scenario. It will be 40 to 60% more efficient for Tune when you use small uniform flat data, medium uniform flat data, or large complex uniform flat data. And I hope you can go poke around at this and play with it. I also have a way for you to paste in your own custom data. So if you want to put some JSON here and see what is it going to look like for each of these formats, then you can play around with it. So the goal here is like, let's make something that makes it a little bit easier to see some benchmarks for these various formats where this conversation happens all the time on the internet. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit about how to do format comparison.